similar and have, you know, we just gave basic diagnoses. CP, low tone, hypotonia, Down syndrome, just to get the idea. And these are kiddos that a lot of times we're gonna work on. Some of these carriers might be our newborns. I did get those two very out of the gate. I'm not gonna lie to you, birth to 3 normally is not gonna come in till, they're not gonna notice up to like 6 months, you know what I mean? But they both had a diagnosis coming out of the hospital and they knew they were gonna need services from the get-go, right? So, but a lot of times we're not gonna get these kids that young. Sometimes we do, I mean, we have seen infants, but a lot of times the pediatrician will be like, just wait and let's see what they do and let's wait and see. I don't really like that philosophy per se, because the earlier we can get in, the better we're gonna help with the neural pathways and all the things. But realistically, pediatricians are gonna wait, and in that 6-month mark, they fill out a form and they're like, we're behind, you know, we're not sitting yet, or, you know, we're not rolling or anything like that. But these are just different carries that we can teach parents, right? So it's gonna be hard to teach parents. I have taught parents some of these facilitations, especially the rolling. The rolling one is great when we're diaper changing, we'll go into that. But like to facilitate walking from front behind, the parents aren't probably gonna get that. But these strategies of carrying, I have used these so much because parents hold their kids a lot, right? So they're gonna get a lot of practice in these. So the first one, the fetal or cradle carry, this is just the basic carry that you think of anytime you're gonna carry a baby. Right, so our hands are gonna be out in front of us. Their little neck is in the crook of your elbow, in the bend of your elbow. So you can move them up, you can move them down, you can rotate them side to side, and you're gonna have them carried with their hips in flexion. So this one really is a cradle, and you're cradling them up. Some of this you cannot read, so let me read what it should say. I don't know why this never kind of cuts off, if anybody wants to see it. I got new glasses. My bifocals. Old people, I'm old. And I know bifocals, but so cervical flexion to prevent spastic or mild spastic child. See, I can't even read it. With extensor thrust. It's just these one little words on the end y'all might not get. Bilateral upper extremities to midline to play. So it missed out the P. To play. So our hand, the little hands are in midline. Child who, so this is a child who needs, that should say needs, full head support, decreased risk of, of upper extremity subluxar dislocation. So it should be a U, upper extremity. Y'all write these down? Y'all might want to write these down. Because the U got totally cut off. Y'all get it for me? You ready? Read it one more time. You're good? Did y'all get it, girls? Yeah. So cervical flexion prevents spastic child with extensor thrust, bilateral upper extremities to mid. Hold with the arm underneath, like this, and then there's only one arm out, and the other arm is dangling down here. So I usually want to say, let's bring that. Now, if you've got a mom who's breastfeeding, I mean, there's certain circumstances you have to do that, but in general, if we're holding a kiddo, I want their hands to midline. I need them to play, bring them to their mouth, all the things, and get them full head support. And they're gonna look at me. We're gonna bond, we're gonna make eye contact in this position. So that is the first one. Any questions with the cradle, fetal or cradle? No? Okay. So the next one is the child who needs less support. Probably should have put more first, but that's okay. Child who needs less support. This is your typical carry that you think of. Every kid's you're gonna carry all kids that have good head control, and they don't need much support. So you're gonna be right on your hip, right? So we're gonna get good external rotation, and if they're tight, we're gonna get some stretching of their adductors, right? Because they're gonna be around your hip. And you're gonna give your support at their low back, thoracic to low back. These are the kiddos that have pretty good head control and pretty good upper thoracic control. They're not the ones that are gonna fall over. You feel like it's just your kiddo that has typical normal tone, and you can carry. And good things for this, they can look around their environment. They can look at you. We are getting some abduction stretching of their hips. This is good for, well, we just gave one example, and it is good for a kiddo with CP because we're going to stretch those hips out. But it's a kiddo that has good enough head control and thoracic spine control for that. Make sure I said everything. I'm doing this from memory, guys. Y'all are pretty impressed but I might miss something. So it allows child to rotate their trunk. So we already said that to rotate and look around the environment. The abducts the lower extremity, so you're stretching the adductors, and upright orientation to the world. So that sounds way better than what I said. But they do have upright orientation to see the world and to look around. Now the next one is the carrying the child who requires more trunk support. So this one you're going to be a little higher and you're going to use two hands, right? So you're going to carry them like this. So you're going to use your other hand, just like the baby did. You're going to hold her up here, right? So you got your hand under her butt for the most part. You can do a hand. I like to do an arm, and then your other arm is going to be up here to support, not necessarily their head. Hopefully they're going to gain head control, but you're going to give them support right here, okay? And your hands will be real close, so say they don't have great head control. You're going to be able to facilitate and help them not let that neck extend. So this is the kiddo who needs a little more support. Same for the legs. We're still getting a deduction stretching. We're still getting, we can talk to them, they can still look around, but they are the ones that need a little bit more upper back support, and you would do this carry. Any questions with this carry? So similar, you just would only need one hand. You don't need this upper back support. So purpose is to support the trunk, develop head control, stretch tight hip adductors, and allow for upright orientation. And again, this one could be spastic CP or hypotonic. So we could be low tone. So either one of my two friends here that were here today with us. I probably did use these years ago. High tone and our low tone kiddos. So this one could be used for either. Any questions with that? I feel like I'm losing you, but guys, we are almost done. We'll end our day at this, and we'll do the rest of them the next time. Okay, y'all have been troopers, and I appreciate you all. You've been great wanting to learn this. Some some cohorts are like, bored to death in PEDS. So the next one is a hip carry with flexion. So again, it kind of looks the same, but I want this leg flexed, because what I want to do is, a lot of times our kiddos with high increased tone or CP or whatever, they have a medical diagnosis, to break up a tone, I want one flexed and one hip extended. And so you can get that from a carry, right? So you can hold their bottom and flex it with if they need more support, you can use this one leg. Sometimes if they're little, you can use your own hand. But here it does show that this one doesn't, the picture's not even great because it doesn't show them back flexed, but I want them flexed. I really want them flexed, hip flexed, knee flexed above 90. And so the picture, the dolls are small because I can do it, but it does show an arm around their waist and then the opposite arm flexing that hip up. Because I do need disassociation of the lower extremities. This one got cut off as well, so you might want to take notes. The purpose is to provide trunk support, breaks up extensor patterns. Oh, this one did not get cut off. One lower extremity bent. Helps with bilateral lower extremity adduction stretch. What would this be trying to say? I'm not sure what that one word is supposed to be saying, but it is true. Eventually we're going to decrease our trunk support and allow them to, look around their environment. Need to go back to see what this is trying to say. I think it's just going to say to allow the child to develop increased independent trunk control. That's what it is saying. That makes sense. So we're going to eventually decrease trunk support to allow the child to develop increased independent trunk control.
So the ED stands for develop, right? DED, probably.
For our shoulder, we're going to be able to get weight bearing through elbows potentially. We're going to get head up and rotating around to look around the environment. But the biggest thing is both arms are over the shoulder. This one you can do a one leg up as well if we've got spastic CP. If you need your whole arm, depending on their trunk control. So just keep in mind, your hand placement up or down on their back is going to depend on how much trunk control they have. Our legs are flexed to decrease extensor tone. Okay, and then our both hands up, we're gonna get weight bearing on those forearms and prep for prone on our elbows, play in the floor, right? And so, that's right, perfect. Stimulates prone on elbows, increase head control, and development of extensor muscles of the cervical and upper thoracic region, and increase weight bearing. So, and then it's good for hypotonic CP. So remember, you can have hypotonic CP. Now, I don't know the statistics, so don't ask me the statistics, whether you have hypo or hyper, but the majority of them are gonna be like Lakin, are gonna have hypertonic, they're gonna be increased tone, but you can have hypotonic CP as well. And our kiddos with Down syndrome obviously are very low tone. Yeah. So that makes sense for you all. Just the key point, this difference is both hands are over your shoulders.
Are you also wanting the hip flex?
I am yes, I am, just because I still like to disassociate a little bit. I still want them to learn that, because when we crawl, we've got to have reciprocal one flex, you know what I mean? So I do honestly keep their knee flexed in a lot of my position holds. I don't know that this necessarily on this picture says that. Well, it does say hold one leg bent while the other is allowed to hang straight down. Like I said, I just really like it to give them an early concept that my both legs are different. They're not all the same body part. And so just by flexing that up is gonna make a neural pathway to say, I've got two extremities down here, and one can bend and one can straighten. So to answer that, yes, I do keep them bent a lot. One leg bent. And then the football carry is easy. Most dads love to do football carry because it's fun. This is working on cervical extension. Now, if I have a severe low tone kiddo and they don't have any neck control, I'm not doing the football carry. But if we are starting to be able to get that neck extension, then I will. So you just put your arms through their legs and you're gonna hold them right under their chin. So your finger can keep them from fully plopping over, right? But the goal is for them to be able to extend their neck, look up and around at their environment in a good position. It's gonna work their cervical, thoracic, their lumbar, all their extensors in this position, because we gotta lift against gravity, right? Now, if they are, like I said, if they really have not much tone, this would not be my first carry. But as we progress, it's fun. You know, you can do vestibular in this position, meaning spinning. We can tip them a little bit depending on their level. So there's a lot you can do in this football carry, and it's pretty fun. Most kids do love the football carry. You can only do this for so long though, unless you're a dad and you've got big hands. You know what I mean? At some point the kid gets too big and it's not safe to do a carry as well. So you gotta find that fine balance of when you can. Let's see if I make sure I told all the purpose. Encourage your child to lift the head and trunk against gravity, increase cervical and upper thoracic muscles, and that is true. Hypotonia and hypotonic CP. So our low tone kiddos, but again, not if they're totally have no head control, but if they're starting to get that a little bit, we're gonna put them in this carry and they're gonna wanna look around to see what's going on. So that is all of our carries. Do you all, what time is it? It's 8 o'clock. You all can practice at home, or I don't care to stay a little later. I just wanted to get y'all out at 8 so you don't have to drive home and be out. But what do you all wanna do? You wanna practice at home, and then when we come Thursday, we will still have time to practice. So we'll not just come in and go straight to practical, because we gotta go over dressing and diaper changes. Does that sound like an appropriate deal? Y'all practice this at home?